In the heart of a neighborhood that had seen better days, where chipped paint and cracked sidewalks told stories of struggle, lived a man named Samuel Bell. He was 72 years old, with kind eyes and hands that had spent a lifetime gardening. Mr. Bell was more than just a resident. He was the soul of his community. Every morning he tended to the small community garden he had started in a vacant lot, transforming a patch of forgotten earth into a vibrant source of fresh vegetables for anyone who needed them. His presence was a steady, reassuring light in a place often overlooked and misunderstood by the outside world, a symbol of hope and resilience. Mr. Bell knew everyone by name, from the youngest children playing on the sidewalks to the oldest folks sitting on their porches. He offered words of encouragement to teenagers struggling to find their way, and shared his harvest with families finding it hard to make ends meet. He did not have much money, but his wealth was measured in the respect and love he received from his neighbors. His garden was a gathering place, a sanctuary where people felt safe and seen. In a world that often judged them by their zip code, Mr. Bell taught them to find value in their shared humanity and the strength of their bonds. He believed that every person had inherent worth, a lesson he lived out every single day. When a fence needed mending or a child needed help with homework, Mr. Bell was there. He organized neighborhood cleanups and potluck dinners, fostering a sense of pride and unity that was stronger than any hardship they faced. His gentle spirit and unwavering dedication showed everyone that even in the toughest of circumstances, kindness could flourish. He was a living testament to the idea that our shared dignity is what connects us all, and that connection is our greatest strength. The children of the neighborhood looked up to him as a grandfather figure. They would follow him through the rows of tomatoes and collard greens, listening to his stories and learning about the patience it takes to grow something beautiful. He taught them that just like a tiny seed, they too had the potential to grow into something wonderful, no matter how difficult the soil might seem. Mr. Bell was not just cultivating plants, he was cultivating hope. He was the quiet, consistent proof that one person's goodness could ripple outward, touching countless lives and making a whole community stronger. One sunny afternoon, as Mr. Bell was walking home from the corner store with a small bag of groceries, his path was blocked by a police car. Officer Miller, a man known in the neighborhood for his aggressive and suspicious nature, stepped out. He had a reputation for targeting residents without cause, and his presence always brought a wave of unease. He approached Mr. Bell with a stern look, his eyes cold and dismissive. He saw not a beloved elder, but a stereotype he had already judged. The simple act of walking down a familiar street was suddenly turned into a moment of confrontation and fear. Officer Miller began to question Mr. Bell, his tone sharp and accusatory. He asked where he was going and what was in his bag, his questions designed to intimidate rather than to seek information. As neighbors started to watch from their windows and porches, a sense of dread filled the air. They knew this was not a routine stop. It felt like a deliberate act of harassment. With a swift, almost practiced motion, Officer Miller told Mr. Bell to put his hands on the police car. It was then, in full view of the gathering crowd, that the officer did something truly terrible. He reached into his own pocket, pulled out a small plastic bag containing a white powder, and discreetly slipped it into Mr. Bell's grocery bag. The officer then discovered the planted evidence with feigned surprise. He pulled the baggie out for everyone to see and declared that he had found illegal drugs. Mr. Bell stood in stunned silence, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding around him. He knew he was innocent, but he also understood the power imbalance at play. He saw the triumphant look in the officer's eyes and knew that a lie was being constructed to trap him. The community watched in horror, their hearts breaking for the man who had only ever shown them kindness. This was not justice. It was a performance of power meant to humiliate and control. Despite the shock and the injustice of the moment, Mr. Bell remained composed. He did not resist or raise his voice. He simply held his head high, his dignity intact. As Officer Miller handcuffed him, the clinking sound of the metal echoed the breaking of trust between the community and the law. Mr. Bell knew that his character was his strongest defense, and he held on to that belief even as he was being wrongfully arrested. He looked at his neighbors, his eyes conveying a silent message of strength and a plea to remember the truth. He was being treated like a criminal, but his spirit refused to be broken. Mr. Bell's case was assigned to a young public defender named Maya Turner. Fresh out of law school, Maya was driven by a powerful sense of purpose. She had chosen this path not for money or prestige, but because she believed deeply that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, deserved a fair chance at justice. She had seen too many people, especially from marginalized communities, get lost in a system that was often indifferent to their humanity. When she read Mr. Bell's file, she felt an immediate conviction that something was wrong. His clean record and the nature of the arrest didn't add up. Maya went to visit Mr. Bell in jail. She found a man who was scared, but not broken. He spoke to her with the same gentle calm that his neighbors knew so well. He told her about his life, his garden, and his community. He insisted on his innocence with a quiet certainty that moved Maya deeply. She listened intently, not just as a lawyer, but as a human being hearing another's plea for help. She saw the goodness in him and felt a fire ignite within her. This was more than just a case. It was a fight for a man's life and reputation, and she was determined to win it. Her investigation began immediately. Maya spent hours in Mr. Bell's neighborhood, walking the same streets and talking to the people who knew him best. At first, they were hesitant, wary of anyone connected to the legal system. But they saw the sincerity in Maya's eyes and heard the passion in her voice. She wasn't just going through the motions, she genuinely cared. One by one, they began to share their stories of Mr. Bell's kindness and their accounts of the arrest. They told her they had seen Officer Miller's suspicious movements and knew in their hearts that Mr. Bell had been framed. Maya discovered a crucial detail during her conversations. A teenager named Leo had been recording a video of his friends skateboarding nearby when the arrest happened. He had captured the entire incident, though he was afraid to come forward. Maya also learned from a source within the police department that Officer Miller's partner that day, a rookie named Officer Evans, had seemed visibly uncomfortable during the arrest. Armed with these potential leads, Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. She knew the path ahead would be difficult, but she was ready to challenge the lie and expose the truth no matter the cost. The day of the trial arrived, and the courtroom was filled with an unusual energy. On one side sat Officer Miller, looking confident and unassailable in his uniform. On the other sat Mr. Bell, dressed in a simple suit, his posture straight and his expression calm. Behind him, nearly every seat was filled by members of his community. They had come to support the man who had always supported them, their presence a silent but powerful testimony to his character. Their collective hope filled the room, creating a stark contrast to the cold, formal proceedings of the court. The prosecution presented its case first. Officer Miller took the stand and delivered a polished, convincing account of the arrest. He described Mr. Bell as suspicious and claimed he found the drugs during a routine search. He spoke with an air of authority, his words painting a picture of a diligent officer doing his duty to keep the streets safe. To anyone who didn't know the truth, his story might have seemed plausible. He was a symbol of the law, and his testimony carried the weight of his badge. The prosecutor seemed confident that this would be a quick and straightforward conviction. Then it was Maya's turn. She rose to her feet, her heart pounding but her voice steady. Her first witness was not a community member, but Officer Evans, Miller's partner. Maya had subpoenaed him, sensing his reluctance might be a key to unlocking the truth. On the stand, Officer Evans was visibly nervous. Maya questioned him gently, asking him to describe the arrest in his own words. She asked him if he had seen Mr. Bell do anything to warrant such an aggressive stop. He hesitated, his eyes darting toward Officer Miller. His discomfort was palpable, sending a ripple of anticipation through the courtroom. Maya pressed on, asking Officer Evans about the moment the drugs were found. "Officer Evans," she asked, "did you see where the baggie came from?" He stammered, avoiding a direct answer. It was clear he was wrestling with his conscience. Maya then called her next witnesses, several of Mr. Bell's neighbors. One after another, they spoke of his unwavering integrity and kindness. They described the arrest not as a lawful procedure, but as an act of aggression. Their stories created a powerful counter-narrative, challenging the official version of events and painting a picture of a beloved community elder being targeted unfairly. The turning point of the trial came when Maya Turner called her final witness to the stand, the teenager Leo. He was nervous, but he walked to the witness stand with a determined look on his face. Maya asked him to describe what he saw on the day of the arrest. Leo explained that he had been filming his friends skateboarding and had inadvertently captured the entire interaction between Officer Miller and Mr. Bell. He told the court that he was afraid to come forward at first, but he knew he had to do the right thing for Mr. Bell, a man who had always encouraged him. Maya then asked for the courtroom lights to be dimmed. She played Leo's video on a large screen for the judge and jury to see. The shaky footage showed Officer Miller approaching Mr. Bell. It then clearly captured the moment the officer reached into his own pocket, his hand obscured for a second, and then slyly dropped the small baggie into Mr. Bell's groceries. A collective gasp swept through the courtroom. The visual evidence was undeniable. The lie that had been so carefully constructed by Officer Miller had completely unraveled in a matter of seconds, exposed for everyone to see. On the screen, the video continued, showing Officer Miller's feigned look of discovery as he pulled the drugs from the bag. In the courtroom, Officer Miller's face turned pale. His confident smirk was gone, replaced by a look of pure panic. The truth, captured on a teenager's phone, was more powerful than his badge and his uniform. The prosecutor sat stunned, his case crumbling before his eyes. Mr. Bell watched the screen, a single tear rolling down his cheek, not a tear of sadness, but of relief. The weight he had been carrying for weeks was finally beginning to lift. The judge's expression was grim. After the video ended, the silence in the room was heavy. There was nothing more to say. Maya rested her case. The evidence was irrefutable, a clear and shocking depiction of an abuse of power. The jury was sent to deliberate, but everyone in the room already knew what the outcome would be. The courage of a young man with a camera and the persistence of a dedicated lawyer had brought the truth into the light. Justice, which had seemed so distant, was now within reach. The jury returned in less than an hour. The foreman stood and in a clear voice declared Mr. Bell not guilty on all charges. A wave of emotion washed over the courtroom. Cheers and sobs of relief erupted from the section where Mr. Bell's neighbors sat. They rose to their feet, applauding not just the verdict but the man they had fought for. Mr. Bell closed his eyes for a moment, absorbing the words he had longed to hear. Maya placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, and he turned to her with a look of profound gratitude. Justice had been served. The judge immediately ordered an investigation into Officer Miller's conduct. His career in law enforcement was over, and he would now face the legal consequences of his actions. As Mr. Bell walked out of the courthouse a free man, he was greeted by his community. They hugged him, shook his hand, and welcomed him back with open arms. The victory was not just his, it was theirs. They had stood together against a powerful injustice and had won. The experience had forged their bonds even stronger, transforming their shared struggle into a source of collective strength and pride. In the weeks that followed, a positive change swept through the neighborhood. The trial had brought attention to their community, not for its problems, but for its resilience and unity. Inspired by Mr. Bell's ordeal and Maya's dedication, more young people like Leo became involved in community activism. They started a neighborhood watch program built on trust and communication, not suspicion. The community garden expanded, and new projects aimed at empowering residents began to take root. The verdict had validated their voices and shown them that they had the power to create change. This story became a powerful lesson for everyone involved. It taught them that truth is a force that cannot be permanently hidden, and that injustice can be overcome when people have the courage to stand up for what is right. Mr. Bell, with his quiet dignity, showed that one person's integrity can inspire a movement. Maya, with her unwavering belief in justice, proved that one person's commitment can move mountains. And the community, with its powerful solidarity, demonstrated that when we stand together for the humanity of our neighbors, we affirm the value of our own.